Well, hello. If you're like me, you're always asking yourself questions, things that you should be considering. That's part of being an entrepreneur, part of being a business leader, always asking questions. And I believe firmly in the power of questions. But I often wonder, am I asking the right questions? What am I missing sometimes? Sometimes if we don't have the answers to the questions, sometimes if we don't even know the question to ask, that evil little piece of self-doubt enters into our psyche, and we begin to wonder, am I doing the right things? What are others doing? We don't want to be copycats to other people, but we can sometimes see success. We can see others who really have nailed their business. And then we wonder to ourselves, well, what am I missing? What should I be doing? And from that question, there is an opportunity, at least for me. I've experienced two major changes in my career as I look back. I spent some 26 years in the corporate world, going from a department head up to the president and chief operating officer of a major corporation with almost $3.5 billion in revenue. And along the way, I learned that I had to act and think and perform differently to meet the challenges that I was confronted with. Now again, I was with a publicly traded company, but I viewed my role as somewhat of an entrepreneur. I had full control of my destiny. And then after I left that environment and started my own company, the Coach's Zone, where I'm founder and CEO, and that sounds really good, but when you think about founder and CEO like you, what are the responsibilities and important things that come with it that cause us to question ourselves and drive us sometimes to action? And if we're being driven to action, which is critical, we want to make sure that we're taking action on the right things. And as I recall, one night, again, I was sitting at home doing work, and it got late at night. My standard routine was spend all day at the office, come home, kiss the kids on the forehead, have a rushed cold dinner with my wife, send the kids to bed, sit at the living room table, and begin to work till 10, 11 o'clock at night. And one evening I had a transformation. My hand began to shake so much I couldn't write anymore. I was trying to do too much. And you know what? I experienced that again as an entrepreneur. When I was working 60, 70, 80 hours a week, wondering, what am I doing? And I'm a sole entrepreneur. I use other outside resources, but basically I'm it, which is different than my corporate world. But again, I was driven to take action, driven to succeed. And when we're like that, we sometimes take on way too much. And then all of a sudden, that little light bulb goes off. And in my case, it was a big light bulb. And you have that same light bulb waiting to be lit. Well, you say to yourself, there is a better way, but it's going to require that I do something different. I need to transform how I perform. I need to transform how I conduct my own personal affairs. I need to be a different person in order to be successful. And that requires a hard looking inside. And that's what I do with my clients. I can tell you story upon story of clients who came to me with those same kind of challenges, and after working real hard, and I must stress the importance of working real hard, they've transformed themselves and then transformed their business. You can't transform your business unless you're willing to make a change to who you are, who you need to be. And going back to my corporate experiences, I decided that I was no longer going to try and do everything. I had a team of people. Sound familiar? I had a team of people who could do more than I was asking them to do, who could do more than I was expecting them to do. I was insecure and had to control everything. Well, it's now, and I then realized, well, it's time to make a change. And I began to invest some time in my team to train them to do the things that I shouldn't be doing. And that's how I transformed myself. I no longer wanted to be the best boss who did everything. I wanted to be the best leader who could develop his team to do what was required. So based upon all of my experiences, both as a solo entrepreneur and my time in the corporate world, I've put together an exciting and comprehensive program called Driving Business Growth. Because no matter whether you're a solo entrepreneur like I am, your own business, or if you work in a corporate environment, if you're a C-suite executive, whether you're a privately held company or a publicly traded company, you are primarily responsible for driving business growth. So this program has 5 distinct pillars. Pillar number 1 deals with leadership, personal productivity, and mindset. You have to have the right mindset, because our mindset determines our attitudes and behaviors, and our attitudes and behaviors determine our actions. You need to have your game face on, and that game face starts in the space between your ears, in your mind. The second pillar deals with strategy. What are you trying to create with your business, your vision, your marketing message? How do you attract buyers and things of that nature? The third pillar is structure. What is the most efficient organizational structure you need to have in order to be successful, in order to have a business that makes a difference and adds value not only to your customers, but your team, and of course you and your family. The fourth pillar is systems and procedures. What are those systems and procedures that run your business? Remember, systems run your business, your people run your systems, and you lead your people. It's just that simple. It's not any more complicated than that. And finally, the last pillar deals with people. How we select them, how we develop them, how we utilize them, how we reward them, and most importantly, how do we retain them? Because your people, your team, is the primary point of contact for your customers. And if your team doesn't handle your customers correctly, what happens then? So we've covered all of these things in our program, Driving Business Growth. I'm Chris Ruisi, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Coaches Zone. And all I want to do is to make a difference. Now, I can make a difference in your career, in your life, in your business, but you have to want to do it. I believe with every fiber in my body that far too many of us make a choice every day to be victims of our circumstances, and we give up any possibility of being a master of our circumstances. I wrote about that in my book, Step Up and Play Big. But the Driving Business Growth program is designed specifically to give you the tools and knowledge that you need to be the master of your circumstances, to build the future and career success and business success that you deserve for taking the risk for starting a business or for doing the things you do. Now, it's a very simple way to get started. And I like to think sometimes that we make an emotional decision when we decide to buy things. And what I'm saying to you now is that you don't want to overthink this, because driving business growth is something that's going to happen with or without you. You want your business to have an edge in the competitive marketplace in which you operate. So what you need to do now is to click where it says right here to buy this program. The investment pales. It pales in the face of the upside potential. In fact, as one of my good friends, a former coach, used to say, you'd be crazy not to do this. You'd be crazy not to do this. Now, I don't want to sound like some snake oil salesman here. That's not my intention. But I'm so excited and passionate about what can happen if you decide to do the work. Make no mistake, the Driving Business Growth program lays out all the tools, all the techniques, and all the strategies in a logical, sequential order. But it is up to you, and I have to remind you, it's up to you to use the tools and use them to your benefit to have clarity in what you're trying to accomplish. If that's not of interest to you, then leave this page now. But if you think that that's something that's of interest to you, and why wouldn't success be of interest to you, then you need to click right here and right now to get started. And it's an opportunity for you to look forward and stop looking back and stop having self-doubts and stop wondering what other people are doing. Let me give you the opportunity through the Driving Business Growth program to have other people wonder what you're doing. Thank you.